identify this triad. Here's what's written from low to high. And then together you get this sound. Okay, so what do we have here? From low to high, the notes written are F, C sharp, and then on top we have an A. To figure out the chord tones, what we're going to do is try to take the letters and stack them into ascending thirds. And what we're going to do is just skip every other letter of our musical alphabet. So start with the low note here. If we label F as the root, a third above F would be some type of A, and a third above A would be some type of C, and we do have a C sharp here. So this is probably a pretty good answer. We get all of the chord tones, okay? If we try to label C sharp as the root, a third above C sharp would be some type of E, and a third above E would be some type of G. We don't have either of these notes, so this is probably not a good choice or the best choice. And then finally, if we label A as the root, a third above A would be a C sharp, which we do have, and then a third above C sharp would be some type of E, which we don't have. So this would maybe be the second best choice, maybe some type of A chord. But since we get all of the chord tones by labeling it as some kind of F chord, let's go with that. Now to figure out the quality of the chord, what we're going to do is look at the intervals between the notes. F up to A is a total of 4 half steps, and 4 half steps is the recipe for a major third, so I'll put capital M3. And then finally A up to C sharp, it's also 4 half steps. This is also a major third. So when you have a chord with stacked major thirds, that is the recipe for an augmented chord. So the answer for this one is F, augmented, and the plus sign indicates augmented. And that's your answer. Now some of you are maybe going to be tempted to call it some kind of A chord because we do have an A and a C sharp, which would imply A major. The E here though is absent, and now you have to do something with the F. So if you labeled it as an A chord, you would say, oh, it's an A major chord, it has no fifth, no 5, and then add 6, that type of thing. I don't think that's the best way to go about it because the more convoluted the chord labeling gets, I think the more complicated things become, right? I think it's much more simple to just say, hey, this is an F augmented chord. Even though augmented chords are dissonant and they're kind of, they're not used very often and they're not certainly as common as major or minor, it's still probably the best choice because we can avoid like these labels of like extended labels of all these like no 5, add this, add that type of thing. So I hope that makes sense. I will see you in the next video.